All right, now we are going to talk about the politics of judicial selection. You have the lower courts and the Supreme Court, and we're going to go into depth about what politics means, party politics, and how that influences judicial nominations. Although the president nominates persons to fill judicial posts, the Senate must confirm each by a majority vote. Federal judges are constitutionally guaranteed the right to serve for life during good behavior, which means that federal judges may be removed only by impeachment, which has occurred only 7 times in 2 centuries. No Supreme Court justice has ever been removed from office, although Samuel Chase was tried but not convicted by the Senate in 1805. Salaries of federal judges also cannot be reduced, a stipulation that further insulates them from political pressures. The customary manner in which the Senate disposes of state-level federal judicial nominations is through what's called senatorial courtesy. This is an unwritten tradition in which nominations for these positions are not confirmed if they are opposed by a senator of the president's party from the state in which the nominee is to serve. In the case of courts of appeal judges, nominees are not confirmed if opposed by a senator of the president's party from the state of the nominee's residence. So for example, if our president is a Republican and our Senate is Republican, if a senator that sits on the Judiciary Committee that confirms these appointments opposes a presidential nominee, and that appointment to the court is going to serve in that senator's home state, then the entire committee will dispose of that nomination and that person will not get the appointment. Now, when looking at the Supreme Court, nominations to the court may be a president's most important legacy to the nation. Through 2010, there have been 153 nominations to the Supreme Court, and 112 people have served on the court. 4 people were nominated and confirmed twice. 8 have declined appointment or died before beginning service on the court, and 29 have failed to secure the Senate's confirmation. Again, here comes that statistic. Presidents have failed 20% of the time to appoint the nominees of their choice to the court, a percentage that is much higher than any other federal position that the president may appoint. Now, what you're looking at here is a chart that shows Supreme Court nominees and the presidents that nominated them that were unsuccessful in getting their Senate confirmation. You have 2 from Ronald Reagan, 2 from Richard Nixon, 2 from Johnson, 1 from Hoover, and 1 from George W. Bush. Nominees to the Supreme Court can lose their Senate confirmation for a number of reasons. For example, you see Clarence Thomas sitting here being questioned by the Senate's Judiciary Committee about sexual harassment charges that were brought against him. You can look these up on the internet, but after intense interviews and investigations into these charges, Clarence Thomas was given the Senate confirmation for the Supreme Court. Nominations to the Supreme Court by presidents are most likely to run into trouble under certain conditions. Presidents whose parties are in the minority in the Senate or who make a nomination at the end of their terms face an increased probability of substantial opposition from the Senate. Opponents of a nomination usually must be able to question a nominee's competence or ethics in order to defeat their nomination. And opposition based on a nominee's ideology is generally not considered a valid reason to vote against a confirmation. There are several other reasons that nominees can run into trouble. If they cannot successfully answer questions on their ethics or their competence, they could lose their Senate confirmation. You could probably come up with a number of other reasons why nominees to the Supreme Court would not get their confirmation. This ends this session on the politics of judicial selection. The next session will discuss the backgrounds of justices and federal judges.